Assalamualaikum and welcome back to my channel. So I recently entered my 30s. I can no longer say I'm in my late 20s, which is kind of bizarre to me because sometimes I just feel like, it's kind of sad to say, but sometimes I feel like I'm still in my 20s, not because I feel young, but because I feel like I didn't develop enough to be able to be in my 30s. It's a little confusing. We're going through a slight identity crisis. I did want to share a bunch of things that I have learned in my 20s, and I feel like I wish I learned sooner. These are things I have learned and I'm actually still learning. My 30s are still my 20s because I didn't live properly through my 20s. I thought I would share things that I've learned and I'm still learning in my 30s, or reminding myself of in my 30s. I have a list of 30 things that I've learned. I've written them down, made some notes on some of them, and I thought I would just share them with you. First one's pretty basic. It's start now or you will regret it. And I say this when it comes to literally anything, whether it's starting a new hobby, exploring a new idea, just, I don't know, like trying to get to know someone, making a new friend, and literally anything, starting a new business, anything at all. Start now, you will regret it if you don't, because for the most part, the older we get, the more responsibilities we have, the more financially secure we need to be, the more our time is tied up. And so the younger you are, you truly have way more time, and the older you get, the less time you have. And even though, alhamdulillah, like I have, you know, some liberties when it comes to my time, when it comes to my money, when it comes to my strength, my energy, I can definitely see a huge difference from now versus me like 10 or even 15 years ago. The smallest things of, like, for example, like eating better, sleeping better, or sleeping on time, not wasting time like that, and maybe even things like working out. Like if I had just actually started when I should have started, instead of being like, okay, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, next year, it ends up being years and you've gone essentially nowhere. So highly recommend not delaying and starting sooner, starting before you're ready. It's so important. Second thing I learned was never take a positive at face value. Half the time people are saying positive things about you or complimenting you, and most of the time, not half the time, most of the time, I would say even 80% of the time, it's just bullshit. Try to be impartial and take things at face. Try to be impartial when you're hearing these comments, whether positive, neutral, or negative, and try to decipher for yourself what is the person actually trying to say and make your own conclusions, because you cannot just trust what people are saying at face value. Third thing, you are not the MC. You are not the main character of a basic Hollywood or Bollywood movie. You are the main character for your own life, but not of a cliche movie. So stop acting and feeling like things are just gonna work out because that's just how things are supposed to be. Stop feeling like you can just trust anyone because they said you can, or you think you should be able to because of their position with respect to your life and your experiences. You will save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of disappointment, a lot of like just regret if you don't assume that you're in a basic movie. Fourth thing, you know just enough, but that is not enough. You need to continuously learn. Learning does not stop after you've graduated high school or university or college. Lifelong learning is a real thing, and you will regret it not spending your time, your free time, trying to be more curious about the world and trying to understand things that are actually going on in the world, not just what you're studying or what entails in your job or your home life or your personal life. Expand your knowledge and just accept that life is about learning. Lifelong learning is extremely important for you to just feel more in this world. Fifth, read. Reading is so important. Knowledge is power, and every day you don't read, you don't expand your knowledge, you are weakening yourself day by day. You are mentally destroying yourself. Six, you are creative. You just didn't ever explore or value creativity enough to explore it. You do not want to wait till your late 20s or even your mid 20s to start exploring, because the older you get, the more that learning curve hurts. And it's harder to get over that learning curve whenever you're trying to explore a new activity, a new hobby, or what have you. Just start sooner so that you can make more mistakes sooner, and then figure out what your hobbies are, what your interests are. By delaying your creativity, all you're really doing is making it harder for you to pick up things, because over time with age, our skills, it's harder to sharpen them, it's harder to explore them because there's just so much barrier to entry essentially. 7, nothing is black and white in life, and that's okay because that is life. Life is hard. It's not easy to navigate. Pro tip, listen to your mom. That leads me into number 8, which is you are extremely privileged to have a savvy mom, a mom that knows how to deal with things in just like every aspect of life. Number 9, you are extremely privileged and are more advantaged than millions, if not literally billions of people. Don't ever let it get to your head, and be very grateful and be humble, because if it were not for the decisions that your ancestors made, you would not be where you are now. You would not have the freedoms that you have now. You would not have the opportunities you have now. It's not all your own doing. 10, helping people that you genuinely care about but that do not want to be helped or do not want help from you is a futile effort, and you should just focus on yourself. It is always easier to change yourself and your behaviors and your life than it is to try to even help someone else. This is definitely one that I'm still literally constantly on a daily or weekly basis learning and relearning. But that is where I'm at. 11, stop trying so hard to be overly humble and vulnerable with other people, because at the end of the day, all you're really doing, you think you're allowing the other person to have space to be open with you and vulnerable with you, but honestly, you're just opening yourself up to be taken advantage of, essentially. Oftentimes, people will just want to hear about your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses or your shortcomings, honestly, for their own amusement. And oftentimes, people will use that information and twist it in ways that you don't want it to be twisted in. So just stop doing that. Still learning that one as well. 12, I know this is hard, but just be quiet. Just be quiet. It keeps your life really simple, and it just makes things go a lot more smoothly, because the less you say, the less people have that they can use against you. This one is a bittersweet one for me to learn, because I don't like this one at all. I feel like, you know, the world shouldn't have to be this way, but unfortunately it is. And this is one that I've really struggled to come to terms with, but it is true. Just be quiet. 13, no one likes women. No one likes women. You can never win, and so you should just stop trying to win. Just do your own thing, educate yourself, know your rights, your capabilities. Don't put yourself down, and just keep pushing forward and live your own life. 14, you were right about makeup. You will eventually start wearing makeup here and there, but you were right. Like, my whole conspiracy theory regarding makeup is 100% true. And to summarize it for you guys real quick, in my humble but very right opinion, makeup is just a tool that is honestly used against you for the most part. It hurts you more than it does good for you. Overall, for most people, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of effort. It also is a waste of your self-esteem and self-worth. That is roughly how I feel about it. I am wearing makeup right now. I do strongly feel like it's not that deep. But at the same time it is, but not in the ways that I think most people think. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I feel like we can go into this in another video, because I don't want to get too much hate on this, because I know people feel very strongly for makeup, so I just don't want to deal with that right now. Number 15, and the last one for this part, is that trying and failing is always so much better, so much more fruitful than just never giving something a shot. And you are very courageous for trying and constantly trying. It's probably one of your best qualities, because it's not easy. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of guts. You don't give yourself enough credit for it. You try and you fail, and then you keep trying. So those were 15 of the 30 things that I learned. If you guys want to see part 2, I will probably do that for you in the next video, so keep an eye out for that. I know that some of these are a little bit different. I know some of them sound very negative. I do feel like these are things that I've learned though over the last, many years, 30 or so. And so I really wanted to share them with you. I still have a lot more notes for the other things that I have learned. I'll share that in the next video. Let me know what your thoughts on some of the things I shared down below and what you have learned in your 20s, or if you're also in your 30s, what you've learned. And if you disagree with me as well, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And also check out my website. I have a small business. I would love your support and your encouragement. Thank you.